what's going on? I'm Rob for Arcade, and today we're checking out Battlefield Bad Company for the Xbox 360. The Battlefield series has been around for about 6 years and has been, up until now, PC only. Bad Company is the first game in the series to make the jump from the PC to the console. Now, this move had a lot of fans in the series, including myself, a little bit worried. You know, sometimes moving a franchise from PC to console can have really disastrous results. Luckily for us, this is not the case with Battlefield Bad Company. Now, for a long time, the Battlefield series has been known for providing gamers an amazing, deep, and engaging multiplayer experience that people play pretty much religiously. I mean, it's amazing. With other games in the series, you had the freedom to go where you want and do what you wanted. Bad Company is the first in the series to really try and tell a story in the single-player mode of the game.
This is Bravo 1 Charlie. Over.
You ought to move up ahead of the convoy to scout the terrain. I'll get back to you with further orders.
So, quick summary of the plot. You're in B Company, Bad Company. Basically, the company is filled with soldiers that nobody wants in their squad and usually used for suicide missions.
Check it out. It's cavalry. Yeah, isn't it amazing how we always go towards the fighting and they're always flying in the opposite?
So after meeting the 3 other guys in your squad, you end up discovering that there are these mercenaries that are mixed in the war that you're fighting and that are usually paid off in gold. So since your squad doesn't necessarily have the highest moral fiber, you decide to head into neutral territory and start getting some of this gold for yourself. This adds some different objectives to the game since you're no longer just blowing through levels, blowing up enemies and vehicles. Now, while finding the gold in the levels is completely optional, it's cool because it gives you a fun side objective to keep you busy.
Try blowing a hole in that house. It's fun.
The way the Battlefield series had an open-ended gameplay in the past, I was kind of curious to see how this is going to be incorporated into the single-player mode. Any worries I had in that department were kind of put to rest because this game is pretty awesome in the single-player department. You are restricted to a path per se, but you do have enough room on the map to decide how you want to approach your objectives. So whether it's barreling in, driving a tank across the field, blowing stuff up, or just hanging back and sniping enemies while calling in airstrikes, the choice truly is up to the player. And that makes the replay value of the game's single-player mode pretty high. Now, another thing the game had been touting as an amazing new feature was the fact that you could destroy everything. Now, this is only partially true. You can knock down trees, you can blow a lot of stuff up, you can do massive amounts of damage to buildings, but can you truly destroy everything? Not really. When you do damage to buildings, you knock all sorts of holes in them, blow the roof off, the plaster, the whole nine. But the basic frame of the building will remain standing. Even if you call in like 10 airstrikes on the same building, one after the other, it's still going to be standing. Kind of a small gripe, but if you're going to build a game as something, you have to follow through with it. And they build it as being completely destructible. Not the case. Blowing stuff up in Battlefield is so much fun, mainly because of the slew of weapons you get to do it with. You got rocket launchers, shotguns, grenades, airstrikes, artillery strikes. There's a lot. There's a lot to choose from, and they're all a lot of fun. My favorite weapon is actually this Russian mortar strike device that you find, and you can actually use it to have the Russians fire mortar strikes on their own troops. It's pretty funny and satisfying to hear them calling in the strike and then realizing that they just blew up their friends. Kind of cool. Let's talk about graphics. The game looks good. Not great, but good. It looks like they put some sort of filter over everything in the game, and everything looks like a little rough. Not necessarily in a bad way, but just kind of grainy. The explosions in the game, amazing, and it's a good thing since there's lots of them. If they screwed up the explosions, might be a problem. Other than the explosions, the graphics in the game are just kind of run-of-the-mill, so nothing jaw-dropping, but still good nonetheless. One thing that will impress you, and it did me at least, is the sound in this game. I mean, it's flawless. It's probably the best thing about this game. Every tiny little detail is done perfectly. I mean, from the gunfire to the explosions, the sound really adds a lot to this game. It makes you panic sometimes. I mean, pretty awesome. I was really impressed by the sound of this game. Now, we couldn't review this game without talking about what has established the Battlefield series as just a blockbuster title. It's the multiplayer. Everything you know and love is here. Massive battles, plenty of modes, vehicles, weapons for you and your friends to get crazy with. I mean, multiplayer, just as I expected it to be in the game, is perfect. I loved every second of it. Now, you guys know, I may or may not know, I actually downloaded the demo of this game when it came out, and you may have done the same thing. I wasn't that impressed, but I gotta tell you guys, after playing the full version, you need to go out and buy this game. It's a must-own. I mean, there's a great single-player story mode, killer multiplayer options, an amazing selection of modes, weapons, the replay value of this game through the roof. Battlefield Bad Company for the Xbox 360, kids. Go pick it up. It's awesome.